Are you truly prepared to understand the devastating power of lust? I'm not talking about a fleeting temptation or a momentary weakness. This is about a force so destructive it shattered the life of a man the Bible calls a man after God's own heart. King David, the giant slayer, the poet king, the unifier of Israel, was reduced to a broken, guilt-ridden shell because of lust. And his story isn't just a dusty, ancient tale. It's a mirror held up to our modern world, a warning etched in blood and tears. If it could happen to him, a man of faith, courage, and divine favor, it can happen to anyone. Let's start by asking, how does a hero become a villain? David's downfall wasn't a sudden collapse. It was a slow, quiet unraveling. Picture this. David, now middle-aged, has everything. A kingdom, wealth, respect. But comfort can be dangerous. One evening, restless and bored, he strolls onto his palace rooftop. Below him, a woman bathes. Her name is Bathsheba. Now here's the critical moment. David chooses to look and keep looking. This wasn't an accident. The original Hebrew implies he gazed intently, studying her. He fed the desire. And that's where lust always begins. Not with action, but with permission. It's just a look, we tell ourselves. But lust is never satisfied with just. Let's break down the anatomy of a moral collapse. First, there's the glance. Curiosity becomes fixation. Then comes the fantasy. What if? Replaces, this is wrong. Next is the opportunity. Power corrupts. David as king could demand anything and he does. Then comes the sin, adultery, betrayal. A loyal soldier's wife, Bathsheba's husband Uriah, is dishonored. Finally, the cover-up. Panic sets in. Bathsheba's pregnancy forces David to manipulate, lie, and ultimately commit murder. Yes, murder. David orders Uriah to the front lines, ensuring his death. Think about this. The man who once spared Saul, his sworn enemy, out of reverence for God, now sacrifices a loyal soldier to hide his sin. Lust doesn't just blind us, it rewires our morality. But here's what's chilling. David thought he got away with it. He marries Bathsheba. The court whispers, but life moves on. For nearly a year, David lives in denial, until the prophet Nathan arrives with a story about a stolen lamb. When David erupts in anger at the fictional thief, Nathan pierces his soul. You are the man. In that moment, David's facade crumbles. Psalm 51 pours out, a raw, unfiltered cry. Have mercy on me, O God. My sin is always before me. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. The child dies. David's family implodes. Rape, rebellion, and betrayal plague his household. Lust's price? A lifetime of grief. But why does this matter to you? Because lust isn't a sin of the past. It's the click of a mouse, the swipe of a screen, the lingering DM. It's the coworker you flirt with a little too long, the fantasy you indulge just this once. We tell ourselves, I'm strong enough to handle this. It's not hurting anyone. I'll stop before it goes too far. Here's the truth. Lust always goes too far. Neuroscience confirms this. It hijacks the brain's reward system, creating pathways that demand more extreme stimulation. What starts as a harmless habit escalates. Relationships crack. Self-respect erodes. Shame isolates us from God and others. But there's hope, and David proves it. His story doesn't end in ruin. After repentance, he rebuilds. He becomes the father of Solomon, the wisest king in history. God calls him a man after my heart even after his failure. Why? Because David didn't make excuses. He owned his sin. He turned toward God, not away. So how do we fight lust today? First, name the enemy. Stop calling it struggling and call it war. Lust is a predator. Stop feeding it. Second, cut off triggers. If social media, movies, or certain relationships fuel temptation, radically eliminate them. Jesus said, if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. He wasn't joking. Third, embrace vulnerability. Find a trusted, mature believer to confess to. Secrets rot the soul. Fourth, replace, don't just resist. Fill your mind with truth. Serve others. Pray before temptation strikes. Fifth, remember the cost. Lust isn't free. It steals peace, destroys trust, and distances you from God's purpose. Let's get brutally honest, you will stumble. But David's story teaches us that failure isn't final. God's grace is greater than your worst sin. But grace isn't a license to coast, it's a lifeline to fight. Final warning, if you're playing with lust, flirting with boundaries, testing limits, stop. Now, you're not the exception. David wasn't. I'm not. Run, confess, fight, and if you've already fallen, get up. God's mercy is waiting. Your turn. Pause this video. Pray Psalm 51. Then take one practical step. Delete an app, text an accountability partner, or write 2 Samuel 11-12 on your mirror. Don't let lust steal another day.